that the Mayans developed, which, in many times the Mayans were like 1,000 years ahead of the Greeks, the Romans, even the Egyptians in many of their discoveries, scientific and even just in tools. Let's talk about some of the Mayan achievements in technology. Their number chart was different than any other number chart that had been derived in the Greek or the Roman existence, because they added the significance of the number 0. How did that change our number chart for us?
Well, by the time we discovered the Maya, we were using the number in mathematics in a proper way, just like the Maya, not just as a placeholder. And placeholder is like we'd use the 0 and 10 as 1, or 100 with 2, or 3. It designates the range of numbers that go behind that. That's called a placeholder. I had to look it up myself, okay? So they had it as a placeholder, like the Babylonians and the Hindus, who got it around 600 A.D., who gave it to the Arabs, who gave it to the Europeans, who used it as a placeholder first. But their mathematics evolved farther, and they used it as a real number that is the limit between positive numbers and negative numbers, as we use it today in mathematics, where we or in engineering, any not even in you don't use it so much in accounting, but you use it a lot in normal mathematics. They were so far ahead in that respect that they just blew everybody away. That they knew this when it was finally deciphered in the late 19th century, that they had the number 0. And the magic thing was that everybody seen Roman numerals and Egyptian symbolism, the numbers. The Maya and ours, we have 10 symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. They only had 3. They had a dot, a bar, and a shell-like 0. It was an open shell, like an oval. And they took these and constructed the most basic, elegant mathematics system, and they did their counting and their mathematics and their division and their addition in a vertical manner, like I show in the book. First line would be 20. Second line would be 400. Third line would be 8,000. It'd be the power of 20, 1,600. Then you go to another level of 300 into 100. It's just simplistic as hell. And they came up with it on their own. They didn't have any models like
right.
Romans and
that
Egyptians,
was
etc.
Absolutely phenomenal. And the simplistic chart that you have there, it's a no-brainer. And it just, the wisdom in the simplicity for me is just astounding, that this preceded what was recorded knowledge. It was this, the Mayans really weren't given a whole lot of credibility. I mean, compared to the Greeks and the Romans and the Europeans, it was a much different, almost like the Spanish conquistadors really kind of made them out to be savages, and that kind of stayed. It was kind of like it undermined their intelligence.
I've often thought about what would have happened if the Maya civilization hadn't collapsed in 910, but had continued on until the 16th century, and this civilization met the Spanish.
Right.
They may have had gamma rays or some kind of ray weapons, or some. They were stronger than the Spanish. They knew how to pierce the armors and battle through the guns and the horses, etc. And they were not still the civilization. They were, they had the culture, and they were Maya, but they were pretty tough guys. So
right.
I often wonder if they continued another 600 years of progress in their sciences and their technology, what we would have seen. And the Spanish have been really impressed, because remember accounts of Cortez when he saw the capital city of the Aztecs, Tenochtitlan. He couldn't believe
right.
it was the most beautiful city, the taller buildings. It was more beautiful than a square as Salamanca, he said. And
right.
God, that wasn't much of a square. But then that's all they had. That was
right.
That was the maximum they had in Europe, and it was amazing. Then a couple years later, he tore it down stone by stone as he took over the city. But they didn't even know what the Maya had, which was much more, many more cities. Aztec had one city, big city. The Maya had more than 50.
Well, you know, the Mayans were quite an advanced awareness and civilization. I'm just going to go through the list of some of the Mayan achievements that they were able to achieve both in technology and in their civilization. They were one of the 5 written original languages. They created the significance of the number 0 in the number chart. They created tool fabrication out of jadeite, which is harder than iron, and obsidian, which is the glass made of lava. They used hydraulic cement and cast-in-place concrete. They also developed sophistication of Mayan sculpture. They did long span and high-rise structures. They did water management systems. That blows my mind. I remember when I went to Chichen Itza and they were educating us on their underground water system. Blew my mind. They did the Mayan superhighway system, the Mayan bridge engineering and transportation system. I mean, it was incredible, their engineering genius at that time when, you know, you're developing civilization in a rainforest that is far away from any known society or civilization, and having these incredible awarenesses and tools that they're using. I mean, it was really a phenomenal feat. It's something that I don't understand why there's not more written about it.
Well, archaeologists have PhDs. Well, one of my friends who's a famous archaeologist calls it the Union Card, a PhD from Harvard. But it's in anthropology or it's in art history. There's no technology in there, no mathematics, no chemistry of cement, no physics, no thermodynamics. You know, the kind of stuff I sweated through in college, in both through all my colleges. Okay, so I had another background. When I viewed a city or I viewed a mystery they couldn't figure out, and instead of being called Temple to the Turtle God, I saw a bridge pier. Instead of having something called a ceremonial weapon, I saw a chisel or an awl. That's how my background in engineering enabled me to see these things that they couldn't see. They could not even see. And I say, wait, how did they carve that beautiful stone? He said, well, it's soft when it's first mined. He said, that's igneous rock. That means it's made with, it's like granite, okay? They couldn't use, you know, soft limestone-like material. And they go, well, I don't know. Maybe they did it some way. Well, they didn't question it. They had plenty of other things to work on. They had the breaking the code. They had the religions. They had the ancestry. They had all these nature versus nurture type of questions. It was too hard. They needed somebody I can't tell you how many times. A famous archaeologist told me one time when he met me, he said, what do we need you for? We don't need engineers. We know how to do this. That's the reason right there. They overlooked it because, one, they weren't interested in it, and secondly, they didn't have the education. They had the talent. These are brilliant men, but they could play the bass violin beautifully, but they could not throw a fastball. So that's the difference between me and the rest of these guys. And I wrote a book on it. Oh, another thing. I have a famous quote. Archaeology is not a profession. It is a vendetta. There's more jealousy and more fear of being attacked if you come up with a concept that is contrary to popular opinion or myth, and they'll do it. They'll tear you to holy pieces. You think that bothers me? You think, Lisa, that I'm afraid of being criticized by the archaeological societies and the archaeological press? No, I'm just an old engineer that goes down in the jungle and drinks cold Coronas, goes back a few tequilas, and I said, you know what? This is like me saying, you know, you talked about all those. It was the little things that amazed me too, like the inside of these Maya structures. They're called vaults. They have a curved ceiling. Nobody's even noticed it. They called it the false arch. That curved ceiling is a parabola. It was used to reflect light. So the Maya had a little light source, like just a little lamp. It would reflect light back 7 or 8 times. They don't even know this. I've never even, you're hearing it now for the first time. They developed the method of vulcanization 3,000 years before Charles Goodyear was born, 2,600 actually, when they knew how to mix rubber with sulfur. They used the juice from the morning glory vine. They could make unbelievable bouncing balls that would last for a long time, and they'd use it in a ball game, and on and on and on like that. They had just little things in their life that made their life easier, but they were just tweaks of science that we didn't have for thousands of years.
And that's the beauty of the fact that you were able to convince them that there was a bridge under all this overgrowth that you actually found in the Mayan civilization, and it was unearthed. And I find that you actually changed the course of history as far as that aspect went, because had you not been adamant in regard to them searching and digging and looking, the bridge never would have been discovered, and that there's going to be more that's found within that bridge, I'm sure, over the next...
Sure. I want to make one little point. They didn't help. I cut my way through the undergrowth so I could take compass readings on the 2 piers in the river and backside on the structures of the bridge in the plaza. I took the videos. I took the pictures. I made the drawings. I'm self-funded, so I didn't have a whole crew going down with me. I had one archaeologist to witness this. And I didn't know it was the longest bridge in the ancient world. Neil Fitzsimons, the late Neil Fitzsimons, is an engineering historian. I told Neil about it. He kept a chart of bridges from, 500 BC all the way to the Verrazano Narrows and bigger bridges. And he called me up one day and said, you know what? They didn't build a longer bridge than the Bridge of Yaxchilan until 1377. I said, what? He said, you have the oldest bridge. You found the oldest bridge in ancient times.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was a neat trick by Maya.
Look at you, Jim. Look what you did.
Yep, I'm pretty proud.
You changed history. I mean, that's a phenomenal thing, and I'm talking to you. I think that's absolutely incredible. And the information that we have yet to unearth, it's very promising. It's very hopeful in our society that we could gain some insight, some additional wisdom from them.
Just let me use one little thing.
Yes.
There's only 40 sites been investigated out of the 4,000 that have been discovered.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead now, sorry. Think about
incredible. That's incredible. I want to bring our listening audience to your website to read more about you, and it's at www.theoldexplorer.com, and it's there that you can find more about Jim's journey. And I want to thank you, Jim, for being my guest today. This has been a wealth of information and insight, and I've really enjoyed reading your book and reading about the Mayan technology that has been lost and not really discussed, and so pertinent, so important to our society. So thank you for doing your purpose and soul calling in finding your passion, following your passion, writing this incredible book, and bringing this wisdom to us. I want to thank you, James O'Kahn, The Lost Secrets of Maya Technology, and you can find James at the following website, www.theoldexplorer.com. And Jim, thank you so much for being my guest today. We have about 30 seconds. Anything you'd like to say to the audience?
Just a commercial appeal. Buy books. You can find them at Amazon.com, and it's ranked in the top 100 of Maya books. And this morning it's pretty high, and I think this afternoon will go higher because every time I have a nice interview like this, people buy books.
Oh, yeah, they will. And I'm already getting emails in my email file, so I will be directing them to Amazon.com. The Lost Secrets of Maya Technology, James O'Con. I suggest all of you read it. It's a wealth of information. God bless you, James.